Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Women's Rugby Wrap following a disappointing defeat to New Zealand, the Black Ferns, 47-10, Molly. And Dwayne Nesta said after the presser, were we bullied? Was it nerves? Are we going a step backwards?
I think if you look at last year, it looks like we've gone backwards, and we probably have a bit. And I think the language that Dwayne is using is, we used to always say that we will get better. You know, we'll focus on the next game, we'll move forward. And obviously that's what they're going to do. But we're at a point now where the girls do have warm-up games. They just came off 2 games against Japan, and then they've gone into the Black Ferns games. Like, we have the games now. We don't have as many as we want, but we do have the games. So what Dwayne, I think, wants is he wants progression in this game. He wants to see his girls step up, and unfortunately they didn't step up the other day. They just got so intimidated, and it looked like they were scared. They were dropping like flies, and playing a team like New Zealand is really, it's very intimidating. It is. You think that you've got it together, and then you get out there and you crumble. Those girls are big, and they're very, they've got a presence about them, and you've got to have it together to be able to face up against them.
Well, they definitely had their work together as well, and they had their homework all planned out. I mean, Grace Hamilton was shut down. They knew what areas to target in our forwards. They were just shutting girls down left, right and centre. They did their homework and they did it well.
Yeah, they did. And, you know, Grace is a type of player where against Japan, she was having runs of upwards of 200 metres. And then she, you look at her stats of the game that we just played on the weekend, she only had 14 runs and managed to only get 74 metres out of that. So that's like, they did their homework. They did it on Millie Boyle as well. Millie only ran 36 metres, and I'm pretty sure our backs didn't run that far as well. When you look at the running metres as a whole though, 283 metres for the Wallaroos versus 834 metres for the Ferns. I mean, it was a game lost early on.
Well, they definitely knew where to attack us as well. Their mauls were so strong. We saw it last year and we saw it again this year. They opted for that driving maul. They went over that try line as well. But where did we go wrong? There was a few areas there.
There absolutely were. Our lineouts were absolutely shocking. Unfortunately, we just weren't able to get straight ball going into it. And we lost 7 of our lineouts, and that is so disappointing. But what I can say, though, is that our scrums, we didn't lose a single one of those. And that's definitely saying something. That's saying that the forwards are really putting that effort in there. You don't want to be losing both scrums and lineouts. So I think that that is a positive, but lineouts is something that Dwayne and the forwards have really got to work on over the next week.
Well, there was some positives. I mean, Laurie Kramer, she was a standout for me on the day. She went over that try line twice. That run of hers down that left wing was just incredible. I really think she did an amazing job on the weekend.
She absolutely did. And what I loved is that as soon as she caught the ball, she put her head down and she just went for it. The celebration at the end. And it's moments like that where you see those players step up in a game where you're just getting absolutely demolished. It's those types of moments that are really important. And for Laurie to get the 2 tries, that must be amazing for her as well.
Well, there are definitely a few things to focus on for this week, and I'm sure Dwayne and Tinky and the assistant coaches, they'll be working on that. But what do you think they'll be actually focusing on?
I think holding onto the ball is one of the main things. We saw a lot over the weekend. Whenever the girls ran into contact, the ball was stripped away from them really easily. So that's something that I need to work on. Lineouts, obviously, set piece is going to be huge, but also just defence in general. If you look at our defence and you look at the amount of tackles that we made, 144 tackles were made by the Wallaroos and only 74 by the Ferns. So that means that we obviously didn't have the ball in our hands as much as we would like. We just need to get a hold of that ball and just get the confidence and the belief behind it. We've got Gracie Hamilton leading the side. You've got a lot of girls in there who have played the Ferns before. They just need to get their confidence back. And they will, because we've seen that the last few years, every time they play the Bledisloe, they have a bit of a shocker for the first game, and then moving into the second game, the score will get closer. So hopefully we'll see some good changes next week.
Well, hopefully they can get the job done this week, but it is going to be played at Eden Park, the Fortress. Can they do it? And what's it like playing there? You've played there before.
It is. It's a very big, intimidating ground. But I think the Wallaroos, you know, they've already got the first game out of the way. Just enjoy it for what it is. Playing at Eden Park is an absolute experience, and that they just need to take the positives out of that. It's going to be an amazing game.
Well, you can catch this game, of course, on Saturday afternoon. It will be at 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. in New Zealand, and it will be followed by the Bledisloe match where our men will be hoping to break their 33-year drought at the Fortress at Eden Park. You can, of course, catch all the live action on Fox Sport, Kayo Sports and rugby.com.au radio. We look forward to seeing you next time.